10 little rabbits, all dressed in white, trying to get to heaven on the end of a kite, but the kite string broke. Down they all fell. Instead of going to heaven, they all went to...
Hello everybody, welcome back. If you haven't been here before, my name is Debbie and I read a lot of books. Today I am continuing the Joona Linna series by Lars Kepler. Again, I did the audio book of this one. I'm getting a reflection off my window, can you see that at all? There you go. But yeah, this one again was read by Saul Reichlin, which I can only hear it in his voice now. This one's duration is 16 hours and 45 minutes in crime and thriller, so I'll just read that blurb to you. There's a face at the window. A stranger wearing a mask stands in the shadow of a garden. He's watching his first victim through the window. He will kill him slowly, make it last, play him a nursery rhyme, make him pay. A killer in your house. There's only one person the police can turn to, ex-detective Joona Linna, but he's serving time in a high-security prison, so they offer him a chance to secure his freedom, help Superintendent Sagerbauer track down the vicious killer known as the Rabbit Hunter before he strikes again. Only one man can stop him. Soon another 3 victims have been murdered and Stockholm is in the grip of terror. Joona Linna must catch a disturbed predator whose trail of destruction leads back to one horrific night of violence with consequences more terrifying than anyone could have imagined. So I'll admit, actually, with this one, it took me a little bit more to get into it. I don't know why. The beginning I was kind of like, I was like looking anywhere and it just wasn't going in, but then all the puzzle pieces started fitting together and I was like proper hooked in again. So I will just let people know that there is a gang rape at the centre of this story, which obviously it talks about one night of violence, but yeah, that is it. It's a gang rape, and so there's lots of talks about the event and what happened and what certain people think happened and didn't think happened that night, and how memories can change depending on like your own trauma and things. So I'm just going to pop that out there as just a bit of a trigger warning for people, just let people know that that's there. As somebody who was able to read that, I thought it was an incredibly clever, powerful story about revenge, basically. But as you're going through, you're not completely sure who is completely involved. The police are very aware that they're missing something, but they don't know what, as they're interviewing and trying to figure out the targets, their connection, and just trying to find the relevance of like the rabbits at the rabbit hole, and the fact that the murderer, you do actually see from the murderer's point of view in this one, and he's just referred to as the Rabbit Hunter, and so there's a huge question mark over that, obviously, throughout the book in regards to the type of person the killer is and why they're doing what they're doing and like their reasoning behind it. And it's one of those cases where when it all comes out, I was actually kind of on the killer's side. I completely understood why somebody would do what the killer does based on the circumstances and the revenge, but at the same time you also feel kind of sorry for that person, and you know, it's like life circumstances have put them in that position and the things they've seen and witnessed. So yeah, it kind of turns everything on its head, this one. Obviously it's going on from the last book. You see Joona's in prison after the events of the last book, and they realise that they can't solve this case without him, and so he gets special licence to come out and help. So yeah, that's the interesting thing about these Joona Linna series, is that there's so much of it that isn't actually concentrated on Joona, so it just makes it a very interesting read when you realise it's not just about Joona. You are learning about Saga, you are learning about all the other teams, and then especially in this case where you are seeing from the killer's point of view. And I'll admit that's not a unique thing to the Lars Kepler books, because they have done points of view from the killer before, whether it's somebody who you know is the killer or somebody that you don't realise is the killer. And I liked how what was clever about this is that once you have identified that person, it switches, if that makes any sense at all. But yeah, I really enjoyed this once I got into it. It was a slow start to begin with, it was a slow burn to begin with. I think it has to do with the fact that these books are just so wordy As I said, this one was 16 hours and 45 minutes. I think one of the previous ones was even longer than that. Book 5, which was Stalker, was 19 hours and 30 minutes, and The Sandman was 14 hours and 30 minutes. So, and I just remember just from reading the first 3 that they felt very, very long books. It feels like that every word has been chosen for a reason, like every single word, every single detail, right down to the last detail, has been picked specifically. So the fact that this is being adapted into a TV series called Lazarus, I find it quite interesting. I'll admit, calling it Lazarus seems a bit strange to me, considering the fact that there are other programs like the Lazarus Project, which is something completely different. I did wonder why they opted to go for Lazarus as the title. Having said that, I haven't read Lazarus yet, and plus, by calling it Lazarus, but then also focusing on the story from The Sandman, I think it is, from what they've released about the show, yeah, it's all just very weird and interesting and wonderful. And to be honest, I feel like is it because Lazarus is a bit more universal rather than the other titles, which seem very specific? There's that tricky word again. I'm not going to say too much about it. I'll just say that it's a slow burn. Once you finally get all those puzzle pieces, it becomes very much a quicker pace. And as I said, that with the rape at the heart of it, and you are talking to the survivor of this horrific attack, you're hearing her recalling the moment that it happened and who she believes was involved. Believed is a very strong word to use there, because you realize as you go through that her memory has been affected since the event, and that she's not completely 100% on who was there, who wasn't, who actually attacked her. And the fact that it was her boyfriend at the time that took her to this place called the Rabbit Hole, where this attack took place. But yeah, that story is really just the main focus of it, and you're just finding out about the people. And there's a point when it's very obvious that they're going, there's something missing, there's somebody there that we aren't aware of, like we're trying to put this together. And I had a thought in my head, it was like, oh, what if it's this? And I was right on the money with that. I was just thinking, what if was the question to ask, because I realised I was right on the money there, and it didn't feel like a cop-out. It just felt logical. I was going to say, if you really do like something that's really dark and gritty, I think you'll really enjoy the Joona Linna books. And as I said, this one was book 6. What's book 7? I don't have book 7 on BorrowBox, so I will have to get it elsewhere. Book 7 is Lazarus, so that'll be interesting to read the one that ultimately the new series is named for. I don't know if the Joona Linna series has finished now, especially considering the fact that the couple behind Lars Kepler are now writing under a different pseudonym. I can imagine that they probably won't be writing another Joona Linna unless they're going to keep the Lars Kepler for that series and then do something else, because it says here that there's going to be a new series called the Key series, which is going to be published. Oh, that's all. The first one's already been published. It was published this time last year in Sweden under Alex Anderil, which is both of their names because they're both called Alex. It says there are 9 instalments of Joona Linna. So I remember I started with book 8, so I'll be reading Lazarus next, and then I don't feel the need to reread book 8 because I didn't actually do it that long ago, which was The Mirror Man. So after that, I think then go straight to the end. That is so bizarre that I started with a book so close to the end of the series. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to the Key series. I shall find the key. That sounds interesting, but. Yeah, the Rabbit Hunter was it was a slow burn to begin with, but once I got in and I started getting those puzzle pieces and everything started fitting together, it was just like, oh wait. So, The Rabbit Hunter by Lars Kepler, book 6, narrated by Saul Reichlin. Here you go, your front cover. Yeah, I need to get ready for work because I'm at the theatre this evening. I am currently reading, what am I reading? Thursday's Child by Nikki French. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you on Wednesday with another video. Stay safe. I love you all. Bye. Yeah, I'm just seeing a pigeon going absolutely crazy in the tree across the road. Yeah. What is that pigeon up to? That one up there is fine, but this one is just going completely crazy. I think he's trying to get to the seat. I get distracted when I sit in front of this window.